In this video, I'm about to show you why Mayor Brandon Johnson is panicking after a billionaire CEO publicly revealed exactly why he abandoned Chicago. This isn't about politics. This is about your safety, your property taxes, and the city you used to be proud of. Because when a billionaire tells the truth on camera, the mayor can't spin it. He just panics. And that's exactly what happened. Let's get into it. Let me start with the moment that made the mayor's blood run cold. Doug McMillon is the CEO of Walmart, the largest retailer in the world. They employ 1.6 million people in the United States alone. He's quiet, he's careful, he doesn't say anything, he hasn't run past 10 lawyers. But in April 2024, he sat down with CNBC and said something every Chicago politician should have watched. He was asked about Walmart closing 4 stores in Chicago in 2023. He didn't give the usual corporate answer about changing market conditions. He told the truth. He said, quote, "We closed those stores because the crime made it impossible to operate safely. Our employees were afraid to come to work. Our customers were afraid to shop. And when we asked the city for help, we were told to hire more security. We already had security. We needed law enforcement. We didn't get it." Let me read that again. "We closed those stores because the crime made it impossible to operate safely." The CEO of the largest company in America said that on national television. Mayor Brandon Johnson was asked about it at his next press conference, and he panicked. Here's what he said. Quote, "Walmart made a business decision. They have a history of closing stores in minority neighborhoods. This isn't about crime, it's about corporate greed. But the data says otherwise." According to the Chicago Police Department, those 4 Walmart stores had experienced 347 reported incidents of theft, robbery, or assault in the 12 months before they closed. 347. That's nearly 1 per day. The mayor can call it greed, but the police report doesn't lie, and the CEO of Walmart doesn't lie on CNBC. He told the truth, and the mayor panicked because he had no answer. Now let me show you why this moment mattered so much. Because the Walmart closures weren't the first sign. The real signal to every CEO in America that Chicago was unsafe came when Mayor Johnson killed ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter is a gunshot detection system. It uses acoustic sensors to pinpoint exactly where gunfire happens. It's used in over 150 cities. According to a study by the Department of Justice, ShotSpotter detects gunfire 47% more often than 911 calls alone. Without it, nearly half of all gunfire goes unreported. In September 2023, Mayor Johnson announced he was canceling the ShotSpotter contract. He said it was too expensive, $13 million per year. He said it led to over-policing. He said the city could reallocate that money to social programs. Here's what every CEO heard. The mayor of Chicago doesn't want to know where gunfire is happening. He's willing to let nearly half of all shootings go unreported. Public safety is not his priority. And they acted. According to a report from the Commercial Club of Chicago, within 60 days of that announcement, 7 companies that had been considering moving their headquarters to Chicago pulled out. 7. Those companies would have brought 3,000 jobs and an estimated $200 million in annual economic activity. The mayor said ShotSpotter didn't prevent crime, but that's not the point. CEOs look for signals. Canceling ShotSpotter sent a signal that Chicago wasn't serious about safety. The mayor panicked when that signal was received, but the damage was already done. Walgreens, Chicago company since 1901. They closed 10 downtown stores in 2023. Their CEO, Rosalind Brewer, went on the record with the Wall Street Journal and said exactly why. She said, quote, "We experienced an unprecedented level of organized theft in our Chicago locations. We're talking about groups coming in with trash bags and filling them up while our security guards watched because they're not allowed to touch anyone. We asked the Cook County State's Attorney's Office to prioritize these cases. We were told theft under $1,000 would not be prosecuted." Not prosecuted. The largest drugstore chain in America was told that if someone steals $999 worth of merchandise, nothing will happen to them. 0 consequences. So of course theft went up by 150%. Of course they closed stores. Of course they laid off employees. And here's what the mayor said in response. He said, quote, "Walgreens has a history of overcharging customers in minority neighborhoods. I'm not going to lose sleep over their business decisions." He actually said that. The mayor of Chicago said he wouldn't lose sleep over a 100-year-old Chicago company closing stores and laying off Chicago residents. Now, I don't know about you, but that made me angry. Because those employees weren't billionaires. They were regular people. Cashiers, stockers, pharmacy techs, people making $15 or $20 an hour, and the mayor basically said good riddance. The CEO didn't mention the mayor by name, but everyone knew who she was talking about. The mayor panicked because when the CEOs of Walmart and Walgreens both tell the same story, people start believing it. And when people believe it, more companies leave. This one is personal to anyone who flies out of O'Hare. United Airlines is headquartered in Chicago. They've been here since 1926. They employ over 15,000 people in the Chicago area. In early 2024, their CEO, Scott Kirby, made a phone call that should terrify every retiree. According to a leaked memo obtained by Crane's Chicago Business, Kirby called Mayor Johnson's office and said, quote, "My employees don't feel safe taking the Blue Line to O'Hare. I have pilots being harassed at the California Avenue station. I have flight attendants who won't work late shifts because they're afraid to walk to their cars. You need to fix this, or I'm going to have to make changes." What changes? The memo didn't say. But industry analysts told Bloomberg that United could move their corporate headquarters to Denver or Houston within 3 years. 3 years. That's not a threat. That's a timeline. And the mayor's response? He didn't call Kirby back for 11 days. 11 days. When the CEO of your city's largest employer calls you about safety, you call back in 11 minutes. Not 11 days. When the press asked him about the United situation, he said, quote, "I haven't seen that memo. I can't comment on rumors, but the memo wasn't a rumor. It was real." And every other CEO in Chicago read about it and thought, if United is thinking about leaving, maybe I should be thinking about it too. The mayor panicked. He held a press conference 2 weeks later saying he was committed to public safety on the CTA, but he didn't announce any new policies. He didn't announce any new funding. He just spoke words into a microphone and hoped no one would notice. We noticed. The CEO of Google took his talent to Texas. Google isn't headquartered in Chicago, but they have a major office in the West Loop. Over 2,000 engineers work there. And in 2023, Google announced they were canceling plans to expand that office. They were going to add another 1,000 jobs. Instead, they're expanding in Austin, Texas. The CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, didn't do a press conference. He didn't have to. But a senior Google executive told the Chicago Tribune, quote, "Our employees don't want to be in Chicago. They're scared. They're asking for transfers to Austin, to Boulder, to anywhere else. So we're following our talent." That's the part the mayor doesn't want you to hear. It's not just companies leaving, it's people. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Illinois lost over 140,000 residents between 2020 and 2023. That's more than any other state except New York and California. And the people leaving aren't the poor. They're the college-educated, the high earners, the people who pay the most taxes. A study by the Illinois Policy Institute found that for every 1,000 residents who leave Illinois, the state loses approximately $25 million in future tax revenue. 140,000 residents times $25,000 per person, that's $3.5 billion gone, just like that. The mayor says he's focused on keeping families in Chicago, but Google's expansion in Texas says otherwise. And the mayor panics every time another executive quietly moves their team to Austin. He panics because he knows it's not about politics, it's about math, and the math says leave. The CEO of Citadel spent $100 million to leave. Ken Griffin, we've talked about him before, net worth $35 billion. He moved Citadel from Chicago to Miami. He spent $100 million building a new office there. $100 million. That's not a move, that's a statement. But here's what you probably didn't hear. After Griffin left, he sat down for an interview with The Information. And he went through point by point why he abandoned Chicago. He talked about crime, he talked about taxes, he talked about the state's pension crisis, he talked about the mayor's refusal to work with business leaders. And then he said something that should make every Chicagoan angry. He said, quote, "I tried for 10 years. I met with every mayor. I met with every governor. I offered to help. I offered to fund anti-violence programs. I offered to pay for more police. And every time they thanked me for the check and then ignored my advice. So I stopped writing checks, and then I left." 10 years. He tried for 10 years, and the city ignored him. Now he's in Miami. His 1,000 employees are in Miami. His $150 million in annual tax payments are in Miami. And Chicago has nothing. The mayor was asked about Griffin's interview. Do you know what he said? He said, quote, Ken Griffin is a billionaire who wanted to pay less taxes. That's not a policy failure. That's a personal choice. That's it. That's all he said. 10 years of trying to help. Millions of dollars in charitable giving. And the mayor reduced it to he wanted to pay less taxes. I don't know about you, but that made me want to scream. Because Griffin wasn't wrong. He tried, he failed, he left. The mayor panicked because Griffin had receipts. He had emails. He had meeting notes. And if they ever got leaked, the mayor's narrative would fall apart. McDonald's. We covered this before. They moved their global headquarters to Chicago in 2018, spent $250 million on a beautiful new building in the West Loop, 9 floors, a state-of-the-art training center. Then in 2023, they told 2,000 employees to work from home permanently. The office is empty. The restaurants around it are closed. The tax revenue is gone. But here's the part I didn't tell you. The CEO of McDonald's, Chris Kempczynski, sent a private email to the mayor's office in early 2023. According to a source who read the email, Kempczynski basically said, "We can't keep our employees safe. We've had 47 incidents in 18 months, carjackings in the parking garage, muggings on the way to the train, an attempted break-in at our executive floor. If you can't fix this, we're going to stop requiring them to come in. And if we stop requiring them to come in, we might as well not have a headquarters here." The mayor's office responded. They offered to increase police presence. They offered to add security cameras, but it was too little, too late. The employees had already made up their minds. They didn't want to come downtown, and McDonald's listened. Now the building is mostly empty. McDonald's is reportedly trying to sublease 9 floors of office space, but with 30% vacancy downtown, no one wants it. So the building sits there, a $250 million monument to failed leadership. And the mayor? He's never visited the McDonald's building. He's never sat down with Kempczynski. He's never asked what it would take to bring those employees back. He just says, "We're working on it." But working on it isn't the same as doing it. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, one of the most powerful bankers in the world. In November 2023, he gave an interview to Fox Business. He was asked about cities with rising crime, and he didn't hesitate. He said, quote, "I love Chicago. It's a great city. But if you're a CEO and you can't guarantee the safety of your employees, you have to make hard decisions. I'm not saying we're leaving. I'm saying we're watching, and what we're seeing isn't good." That's code. When Jamie Dimon says, "I'm not saying we're leaving," what he means is we're thinking about it. When he says we're watching, what he means is we've already started planning. JP Morgan Chase has over 5,000 employees in the Chicago area. If they left, it would be catastrophic. The mayor's office issued a statement. They said, quote, "Chicago is safer than it's been in years. Violent crime is down. We're making progress. But let me give you the real numbers." According to the Chicago Police Department, as of April 2024, murders were down compared to the peak of 2021. But theft was up 31%. Carjackings were up 14%. Robberies were up 22%. The only thing down was murder. Everything else was up. Dimon knows that. Every CEO knows that. And when the mayor says crime is down, he's technically telling the truth about murder but lying about everything else. The mayor panicked. He called Dimon's office the next day. He wanted a meeting. But Dimon was busy. He's always busy. And the mayor's call went to voicemail. Let me tell you about something that happened that the press didn't cover. In February 2024, there was a private CEO summit in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's an annual event. The biggest names in business attend. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook. The mayor wasn't there, obviously, but his city was discussed. According to a leak from someone who attended, the CEOs were talking about where to expand their businesses. One CEO mentioned Chicago, and another CEO laughed, out loud, in a room full of billionaires. He said, "Are you serious? Have you seen what's happening there? You couldn't pay me to put a new office in Chicago." That CEO was later identified as Stephen Schwarzman, the CEO of Blackstone. Blackstone is one of the largest investment firms in the world. They own millions of square feet of real estate. And they're not buying in Chicago, they're selling. According to real estate data from CoStar, Blackstone has sold over $1 billion worth of Chicago properties since 2022. $1 billion. They're getting out. And when Blackstone sells, other investors notice. And when other investors notice, prices drop. And when prices drop, property tax revenue drops. And when property tax revenue drops, your taxes go up. The mayor can't control what billionaires say at private summits, but he could control the conditions that made them say it. He didn't. And now the word is out. Chicago is a punchline in rooms where decisions are made. Let me end with what the mayor said after all of this. After Walmart closed stores, after Walgreens closed stores, after United threatened to leave, after Citadel left, after McDonald's went remote, after Google went to Texas, after Jamie Dimon warned him, after Blackstone sold $1 billion of property. At a press conference last month, a reporter asked Mayor Johnson, "Do you think Chicago has a crime problem that's driving away businesses?" And here's what he said, with a shaky voice, with his eyes darting around the room. He said, quote, "I think the media has a crime problem. I think they report every shooting and every carjacking like it's the end of the world. Businesses aren't leaving because of crime. They're leaving because of what you're telling people about crime." He blamed the media, not the criminals, not the police, not his policies, the media. He said the problem isn't that people are getting carjacked. The problem is that you're hearing about it. That's panic. That's not a plan. That's a man who knows he's losing and doesn't know what to do. So he points his finger at anyone except himself. Here's what I think. The mayor panics because he knows the truth. He knows businesses are leaving because of crime. He knows the data doesn't lie. He knows CEOs are telling the truth on CNBC and in leaked memos, but he can't admit it because it would mean his policies failed. So he blames the media. He blames the rich. He blames anyone except the person in the mirror. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. When a leader panics, he makes bad decisions. He lashes out. He doubles down on failed policies. He refuses to change course because changing course would mean admitting he was wrong. So the city keeps bleeding, companies keep leaving, jobs keep disappearing, and your taxes keep going up. But you're retired. You've lived long enough to know when someone's lying to you. You've seen politicians come and go, and you can see that Chicago is losing. The companies are leaving. The jobs are leaving. The people are leaving. And the mayor is panicking because he doesn't know how to stop it. That should scare you. Because when the leader panics, the city suffers. And you're the one who pays the price. I'm not telling you to move. I'm not telling you to give up on Chicago. I'm telling you to pay attention. Watch the city council meetings. Read the police reports. Look at the data for yourself. Don't let him tell you that crime is down when theft is up 31%. Don't let him tell you that businesses are leaving because of greed when the CEOs are telling you it's safety. Call your alderman. Go to community meetings. Vote in every local election. Local elections matter more than presidential elections for things like this. Ask the hard questions. When the mayor blames the media, ask him about the police report. When he blames the rich, ask him about the Walmart employees who lost their jobs. Don't let him off the hook. Because if we don't demand better, nothing will change. More companies will leave, more jobs will disappear, more retirees will move to Florida or Arizona or anywhere with lower taxes and safer streets. And your property taxes will keep going up. You deserve better. Chicago deserves better. And the mayor needs to know that you're watching.